Hello, Voidlings. Daekon here. Just wanted to give a heads up. This is the final episode that features Jack. Unfortunately, as I said in the last episode, they have left the show. But that said, this was also recorded back in like February before the world was on fire. So keep that in mind going through the rest of this. Anyway, yeah. Enjoy.
Call of the Void contains strong language and possible trigger warnings and is intended for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, I'm Daekon.
Hi, I'm Jack.
And welcome to Call of the Void, a podcast about all things weird and macabre.
You know that's staying in the episode.
That's fine. That's totally cool.
We have fun here.
Hello and welcome. I hope everyone is doing well. It has been a hot minute since we've recorded.
For real.
Just a heads up, I have my doggo Daisy in the room. So if you hear little whimpers as we go, it's her begging for attention. So that's all it is. I will try to keep it to a minimum.
Turn around and pet the dog. Pet the dog.
I can't. I literally can't touch her right now because if I do, she'll start off in a fit and it'll never end.
Okay.
I have to pretend she doesn't exist for the next little bit.
Godspeed, Deacon Frostgrave.
But yes, so we've had an eventful little bit. A lot has happened. A lot has transpired, most recently of which being I made yet another trip to New York City and
it was so much fun.
So I went for my birthday again. This has become a thing at this point. I just show up on my birthday at Ferret headquarters and they're like, what?
He teleports there. It's actually quite a sight to be seen.
Yeah. My car and all, I just Nightcrawler style, touch my car and then we just teleport.
Aw, Nightcrawler. I love Kurt.
But yes, so we wanted to talk a little bit about the trip and what all happened and went down. I think most of which, and what I think we're most excited to fucking talk about, we saw Beetlejuice on Broadway.
So good.
It was amazing.
I've said this to several people, and I remember saying this to you on the walk back to Penn Station, that I will never love anything ever in my life more than I loved that show.
Yeah, I mean that was my first show on Broadway, and
that's a hell of a first show, dude.
God, it was so good.
Both of us were sobbing messes during Home in the second act.
Prostitution.
When she did that, prostitution. When she did that, I was still laughing about it 5 minutes later.
It was
she's so good. They're all amazing.
It was so good, and this show deserves so much more. Oh my god, I'm so upset that this show is losing its theater. Like,
yeah, I mean, we don't know what's gonna happen, but
yeah, we have no idea what the actual like verdict is going to be yet.
Because like they've been like, who knows? We might do this. We might do this. We might do this. But there hasn't been anything like concrete yet. So hopefully,
Alex Brightman said in an interview like a month ago, like not to worry because Beetlejuice isn't going anywhere.
Yeah,
but what that actually fucking means, none of us know. Because we don't know. Like they haven't given us anything concrete. I mean, we do know that, I forget what the name of the company is, but they like buy up properties, like scripts and stuff. They pay for rights and things like that, and then essentially sell those out to like community theaters and schools and things like that. And they recently got the script for Beetlejuice. So it just makes it more like cost effective to be able to pay the royalties for shows, and they recently got a hold of it and like are apparently like planning to start allowing people to buy the rights to perform Beetlejuice in like community theaters and schools and things like that, which would be hella cool.
I highly doubt that there are any schools that would allow their children to perform Beetlejuice.
I mean, I don't know.
Hey guys. Fuck you guys. Like, seriously. Fuck Brigadoon.
And don't text me in the middle of the night with you up because new phone. Who dis?
Like, the best part about that is that, like, it's obvious where he was going with that, but I was dying of laughter before he even finished the phrase.
Oh, God. Like, there are... Beetlejuice is an amazing part of that show, and I've been saying a lot recently, like, I've been going, like, and now I'm sad. And literally, like, there's, like, because I keep picturing it in Beetlejuice's voice with the whole, like, I'm so happy. Oh, maybe this happiness won't last forever. I'm so worried, and that makes me angry. Like the sudden like going through emotion shit.
That was so
was
great.
Like, and like, now I'm sad.
I don't know if you saw me like during that part of the show, but I was just like, "Yup," and like nodding my head, like, "Welcome back, bud." Yep. But and then when he addresses it again later, like, I could never, like, how do you live like that?
Exactly, bud. Exactly.
Yeah. I do absolutely want to keep talking about Beetlejuice. I would love to talk about Beetlejuice until the day I die, personally. But there is one thing I wanted to talk about and address on the show that you very casually told me. And I was like, that's not a thing to casually just drop into conversation. So last year, when you came up here, like, you were saying, like, oh, you know, like, I hope I have my own paranormal experience in Jen and Luke's house and everything. And then, like, you said that, like, you felt like somebody was watching you in certain areas, but, like, nothing really happened.
Yeah.
That didn't happen this time. Would you like to say what the fuck happened? Because, holy shit.
Okay, yeah, so I was essentially pulling out the pull-out couch to go to bed. And I was like putting the cushions away and like getting ready to pull the bed out, and out of the corner of my eye I literally straight up saw like a fucking person like look over my direction and kind of like cat style swat a fucking water bottle off of the table. And when I like was like, what the fuck? Because I thought for a second that it was like Jen or somebody who came back into the room and just like knocked the water bottle off the table. I was like, what the fuck? And I looked over and there was no one there. And I was like, oh, okay, that's fun.
Full-bodied apparition. Full-bodied apparition. So ask and you shall receive.
I mean, I wasn't really, like, scared or anything. It was more just a, like, what the fuck? Like, why?
I mean, yeah, like, when the fucking bed started vibrating and shaking, my reaction was, I'm too tired for this. And I rolled over and tried to keep sleeping. So...
But yeah, so, yeah, that was a thing that happened this time.
Which is really funny that happened right before we saw Beetlejuice.
Yeah, like, that was, like, my first night up there. Like, I drove for 12 hours from here to their house, and I was very tired and very sleepy. I'm gonna be real with you, but I got there, and they were about to do their, like, what was it, the fucking streamiversary thing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh well, I don't want to disturb them, and I also like because they were downstairs and I was upstairs on the couch, so I was just kind of sitting there playing my Switch for a while. I was playing Pokemon. I was shiny hunting because I have a problem. I still have not caught that shiny Pumpkaboo, and I swear to fucking God, I will get that.
No, we're stopping the show for a second. How many are you up to?
I am into the, like, 6,000s on eggs at this point, and I still haven't, like, total encounters, including, like, the eggs that I've hatched and the fucking, like, encounters in the wild that I've had. Mm-hmm. I am up into the, like, 6,000s. And I cannot get my hands on this motherfucker to save my life.
So, wait, do you know what the shiny rate of Pumpkaboo is?
Shiny rate for all Pokemon is about is the same. Oh, okay. It is 1 in 4,287, I believe.
Oh, okay, so I'm calling bullshit.
And
because if all you've been doing is looking for Pumpkaboo.
So here's the thing. It re-rolls every time you encounter it. So it's not like it remembers, like, oh, he's already encountered this Pumpkaboo. You know, it's not like I can encounter it 4,280 something times and, like, be guaranteed. So every time you encounter a Pumpkaboo, it rolls on a table of 1 in 4,287. Like, every time.
Oh, that's so...
Which is why shiny hunting is incredibly frustrating.
That is silly.
But you can increase those odds and give yourself additional rolls by doing certain things. So if you complete the Pokedex, you get certain whatever. If you catch a certain amount, like whatever. My current shiny odds are somewhere in the like 1 in 1,000 something range. But still, it rolls 1 in 1,000 every time.
That hurts my damn soul.
So, and mind you, I randomly out of fucking nowhere caught like a Mimikyu after 6 eggs. Live on stream.
I'll Mimikyu.
So like, but anyway, yes, that stupid fucking pumpkin, I'm gonna catch it one day.
But listen, Pumpkaboo is a ghost type. We were just talking about ghosts. And Call of the Void, that's the thing we do here, is talk about ghosts. So it works. It jives.
I mean, I guess I'm a ghost type trainer, so I like all my Pokemon are ghost types, and I'm trying my damnedest to get an all ghost team that I can be comfortable with, and I want a Pumpkaboo, but it's not happening.
It's super funny to me that my favorite type is fire type, but my two most favorite Pokemon are both psychic types.
I mean, mine's ghost.
Yeah.
I love all the ghost types, but Gengar is my boy.
And yet you won't sing it on Twitch stream.
Wait, what?
You said, I like ghosts, and I said, and yet you won't sing it on Twitch stream.
I did, though.
Yes,
anyway.
You did. You sang Dance Macabre, and you were... When you called me out on stream about how, oh, Jack is probably losing their fucking mind right now, I was. But yeah, you still need to sing Square Hammer.
Maybe one day. Anyway.
Yeah, getting back to...
But I was sitting there playing Pokemon on the couch, and they finally came upstairs. We talked for a little bit. They were like, oh, we're sorry that we kind of like left you here after you actually made it here, because Jen was feeling sick, and I got there right before they were going live. And they were like, we're so sorry we left you upstairs by yourself. Like, is everything okay? And I was like, yeah, it's fine. And we talked for a little bit. And then they were like, well, I've got to go to bed because we got stuff to do tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. Because Luke was going into the city to take his dad to do something. I forget it. Or I think he had to go to the VA hospital. And I had to take Jen to work because there was no... I remember. Yeah, there was no, like... no way for her to get there because... Luke would have had to, like, be on the road driving for, like, 4+ hours. He was like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I told him, like, I'll take Jen, it's fine. But right as, like, I was, getting ready to go to bed, I was putting things away and whatever. And then like I said, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a person. It was a little bit taller than Jen, but I thought, like, I was just looking out of the corner of my eye that, like, oh, it must be, like, Jen or somebody. And I literally thought, like, that was the first thought that came to my mind. I was like, oh, it's Jen. And, like, they were just standing there, like, looking over my direction. And then I just saw the bottle, like I go tumbling off the counter. Like, they slapped at it, and the bottle went rolling off. And I looked over in that direction, like, what the fuck? Because I was literally about to be like, what the fuck? And there was nobody actually there. And I was like, oh,
but that's
okay,
why
then.
It's like, I would chalk it up to, oh, you were just exhausted, if not for the fact that you saw what you saw and there was an actual physical action that was performed that led to an actual thing happening, which was the bottle rolling off the table. Yeah. So...
I mean, like I said, I was like, well, okay, I guess it's just my life. And that was really the only thing that happened while I was there.
Well,
I mean, like I said, I really wasn't scared, and I didn't care. Like, whenever I realized that no one was actually there, I was like, oh, I hope that was fun for you. And then I finished, like, pulling the bed out, and I just went to sleep with no problem.
Hello, how are you? I'm alright.
But yeah, so yes, we had. I had a ghost experience.
I'm very happy for you.
Also, I look forward to many more in the future.
If you hear a rattling noise, I'm drinking a soda.
It's Jack Skellington
Yes.
escaping their body.
It is. But yeah, that's the cap for those of you playing at home. So you're not like, oh, is there audio interference? No, there is not. It is Jack interference.
Did you know that you
when
have
it
a
snows,
skeleton
my
inside.
eyes become large.
No. Do you have a skeleton inside of you right now?
Fuck.
Did you know that your bones are wet?
It's weird.
That apparently makes people uncomfortable to think about, so there you go.
Yeah, it is. My shins hurt now. Fuck you. Fuck you, man. I love you, but fuck you.
But that was the first day that I was there. So the first day I was there was literally, I got there, I played Pokemon for a little bit, I had a ghost experience, and I went to sleep.
And it wasn't the ghost experience you wanted because, again, no shiny Pumpkaboo.
It wasn't. I wanted the fucking shiny Pumpkaboo.
Listen, ghost of possibly one of Jen's relatives. I'm gonna let you finish, but...
Can you, like, make a purple pumpkin appear in my game? Like, can you manipulate the odds for me? But, so, that was day one. Day two was going into the city.
Yes,
and
so... For starters, I'm super proud of you that you did that by yourself.
I was big scared.
Yeah, I am still perplexed as to you fucking running to the train station, but I'm super proud of you that you got on the train.
I was just gonna walk to the train station, but I looked at my phone and was like, oh shit, it says that I'm gonna be late if I don't book it right the fuck now, and so I took off at a full-ass sprint.
Like... The other thing about that was the fact that, like, I forgot that there were multiple exits. So
yeah.
I kind of drove Deacon a little bit out of his mind when I was trying to find him. And then when I realized where he was saying he was, I was like, oh!
Yeah, I got out and I'm like, hey, Jack, I'm standing in front of a busker in front of a Starbucks. And Jack was like, I don't see anybody here at the Starbucks.
No. For the record, he said people. He said he was standing in front of a Starbucks in fucking Manhattan. Do you realize how little that narrows that down?
In Penn Station specifically, and I also said I was at track 19.
Okay, do you realize how many Starbucks are in Penn Station alone?
I mean, there was pretty much one specifically at fucking track 19, Jack.
No, there wasn't, Deacon, because I showed you where I thought you meant when we were walking past. So I don't want to hear that bullshit.
Look.
No, don't you look me.
But I was like, hey, I'm here. Well, then it got to a point where I was like, actually, it's a Starbucks next to a GNC, which is next to I forget what the name of that fucking bakery was.
Fuck. Whatever, it's in my text.
It doesn't matter. But I was like, I'm literally like, I'm at the Starbucks and there's a GNC here, and then there's this bakery, Magnolia, that's what it was.
Magnolia, yes.
And I was like, I'm standing next to like these things, and you were like, oh, I'm dumb. I had to go walk down, or you were like, I have to turn and go down.
The worst part was, like, when I initially realized that you weren't at the original place I thought you were, I started walking down the direction where you actually were, and then... But, okay, so I have a really shitty sense of direction, so even if I'm going the right way, I usually feel like I'm going the wrong way. Which is exactly what happened. I was going the right way, and had I continued to walk, I would have run into Deacon, but instead I was like, no, this can't be right, and I turned around and, like, walked all over fucking Penn Station. And yeah, that was a mess. But, you know, listen, it wouldn't be me. you wouldn't love me any other way. So
But once we navigated the maze out of Penn Station, we went and found the theater because we were like, you know, well, we walked down like we were gonna go find the theater, and then Jack was like, I need to take some touristy pictures of you.
I only took the one, and then I took a picture of the both of us, and might I say, both pictures came out amazing their first try.
But you were like, stand here and
here and let me take a touristy picture.
and just look touristy. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, and one of my favorite things, you look amazing in that picture, by the way. But like,
I mean, I disagree, but whatever.
Oh my god, I'm gonna punch you. No, like, one of my favorite things about that picture is the look you're giving me in that picture. It's just like you're smiling, like, yep, I'm letting you do this, but your head is tilted like, I hate you for making me do this.
Well, because the place that you decided to take a fucking picture is, like, where all the fucking characters and shit are, and I was like, please, just God, don't let anybody, don't let them come up to me.
All right, so here's the thing, Deacon, you might be a tourist, I am not. If one of the characters came up, we would have been good. It's fine. I know how to deal with them. Like, nah. We're not having that happen here today. Thank you.
I mean, whenever we're walking around, I just kind of ignore them, but still.
Yeah. But also, like, I specifically wanted, like, some of the very, like, oh, hey, this is New York buildings that were behind you.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah.
But, so we went and found the theater. We were hanging out outside, and Jack was like, what do you want to eat? And we turned around, and there was a McDonald's, and Jack was like, do you want to go to McDonald's and make me disappointed in you? And I was like, nah.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I really want a McDonald's, so I was willing to be miserable and, like, have you Philistine ask for.
No, we're not getting into this on this fucking podcast again. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. Every time we have this conversation, we end up angry for like a good portion of time.
All I'm gonna say is McDonald's recently put out that line of scented candles that are all the ingredients to a quarter pounder. Ketchup is there, mustard is not.
Even though mustard is a fucking ingredient on the quarter pounder if you look up the ingredients.
Yeah, but it didn't get its own candle, which means it's not important.
None of them should have gotten their own candle, Jack. It's an abomination against God.
That's beside the point. That is beside the point, Deacon. All right. So, yeah, where did we go eat instead?
We went to Taco Bell.
Which, like, honestly, one of the things I loved about this trip is that everything was a straight shot from each other. So, like, all we had to do was walk down a few blocks, and there was the theater, and then I looked up, like, where's a Taco Bell, and it was literally, like, we make a left and walk down a couple blocks, and there was the Taco Bell. So everything was in, like, super close proximity to each other.
Now, if you're playing along at home, the last time that we had a trip to New York, I also went to Taco Bell.
Yes, it's just gonna be a thing.
We went, like, honestly, I kind of wanted Taco Bell, and I had a feeling that Drag might also want Taco Bell.
I mean, it's Taco Bell. I'm never going to turn down Taco Bell. If I ever turn down Taco Bell, you know that it's my doppelganger, and you should get out of the room.
But I told you, like, I told you what my mom would say, and she literally was like, so did you go eat anywhere fancy while you were in New York? And I was like, nope, we went to Taco Bell. And she was like, are you fucking serious? I was like, yep. I was like, but this Taco Bell sold alcohol.
Yeah. No, honestly,
she was like,
though,
I'm so disappointed in you.
If in the event that I'm ever in the financial place to do so, either when you move up here or the next time you visit, I would absolutely love to take you to, there's this Italian restaurant that I super fucking love called Carmine's. And, like, for those of you playing at home, I don't typically, like, okay, so I am Italian. I was, like, raised in a predominantly Italian household. I didn't know I was anything but Italian until I was, like, 10 or 11 years old. And, like, I got so sick of, like, pasta all the time and all that shit because, like, we were also poor. And when you're poor and...
Your family. Sorry, that's Olive Garden.
Yeah, when you're poor, your family. But when you're poor and pasta is like $2 a box, and like you have it every Sunday because it's an Italian tradition thing to have midday dinner on Sundays, and then you're poor and pasta is cheap, you sometimes have pasta like 2 or 3 times a week. So I have grown incredibly sick of most Italian things. Like, I have to be in the mood for, like, there are certain things I'm always gonna want. Like, chicken parm, I'm always gonna want it. Lasagna, I'm always gonna want it. But other than, like, that stuff, like, I don't, if it's my choice of restaurant, we are probably going to a Mexican food place or a Tex-Mex place or Japanese or something like that. Like, that's where we're going.
Yeah.
Carmine's is an Italian restaurant. It's a family style restaurant. So, like, when you order, they don't just bring you a plate. They bring you that thing for the table. So I would love to take you there because the food is so fucking good. And I haven't been there in ages. And, like, yeah. And that's a place that you could be like, oh yeah, I went to Carmine's.
You realize that you're going to take me to this place, and much like that museum thing that you're talking about, I'm going to be like, hey, mozzarella!
Oh my god.
Fettuccine!
Alright, so scratch that. I need to scratch that. I'm going to take you to TGI Fridays. Because the one by me closed, and I'm really upset about that, and I'm just going to take you to Fridays. Because I am not going to sit there in Carmine's and have you do that, and I'm just trying to...
Italian hands!
I'm just trying to eat my chicken scarpatiello. That's all I want.
Spaghetti!
Oh
anyway.
My god, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Alright.
But... So... We went to Taco Bell, and I ordered alcohol while I was at the Taco Bell, and it was real good. And then we headed back out into the cold, because it got real fucking cold real fast.
It did. Like, my hands started to freeze.
And we were standing outside, and there was a period of time where you were on the phone, and there was a sign above us that kept flickering, and it was driving me insane.
I was like, so what do you want to do before? And, like, one of the places, like, the flickering sign was above, like, this church or something. I was like, hey, you want to go to church?
No.
And I was like, oh, you don't want to go to church. And then, like, we saw, like,
I was like, we could go to hell because right next to the Winter Garden is, like, a fucking, like, Christmas all year round store. And Jack was like, no.
I was going to say yes, and then I realized some things about that store that were probably in there that would freak me out, and I won't get into it. But, yeah, I was like, actually, on second thought, that sounds like a terrible idea for me. So we went
fuck this.
Yeah, so we went into a Walgreens, and I got him a special little dragon dino baby. That is
on my shelves. It's on my board game shelves.
Did you ever rename him?
I have not.
Okay.
I have been debating I've been debating things to name him, but I haven't really decided on anything yet. I don't know. Part of me considered calling him Beetlejuice.
Aww.
Just because of like or BJ, because whenever we were in the theater, like everything was like the lights were purple and green, and they would change from like purple and green to like this cool like purple and blue. Yeah. And when they finally put the big swirly thing up on the curtains and stuff, it was purple and green. So like but we finally got into the show, and again, was amazing.
It was. I accidentally spent $30 on alcohol because I thought you had to get an alcoholic drink for the special cup. And then Deacon walks over with the special cup, and I'm like, oh, what did you get? And he goes, oh, I just got a soda. And I was like, how much did you pay for it? And he goes, oh, like $10.
Yeah. I was like, I was like, I'm just gonna get, because he was like, do you want to get a, he was like, do you want a mixed drink? Do you just want a soda? And I was just like, I mean, I kind of want soda. And he was like, okay, well, we have Pepsi. And I was like, Pepsi's fine. But yeah, so I got my cup, and I love this fucking cup.
Yeah, me too. I washed it out. I was really bad and forgot to wash it out. By the way, I'm holding it. I just grabbed it from behind.
Yeah, it's on my desk. Like,
yeah, I forgot to wash it out for like a couple of days, so it like smelled heavily of the alcohol that was in it. But I washed it out, and I have yet to use it again because I don't want to have to keep washing it, because I don't want the design to fade.
It shouldn't. It is dishwasher safe, so you're good.
Yeah, but after like years of doing that over and over again, it fades gradually.
I mean, yes, but
so the less I use it, and the less I have to wash it.
I've been using mine fucking constantly, but I just mostly wash it out by hand, and then we're done. Like, we good. But so we had we didn't have the normal Lydia.
Well, technically she is now.
She is now. It was Presley Ryan.
Who was phenomenal, by the way.
She is such a good fucking Lydia.
She really is.
Usually she is the, if she's not playing Lydia, she's playing the Girl Scout.
Yeah. So who played the Girl Scout?
The other Lydia understudy. The lady who played the Girl Scout, I forget what her name is. She is also a Lydia understudy.
Oh, okay.
But she's also like, I mean, they're all amazing. Alex Brightman was so good.
Alex Brightman
as Beetlejuice.
So I was watching, like, I never do this for, like, Broadway shows or whatever. This should show you how much I loved this. Like, I never do this for musicals. I've been watching, for starters, I've watched, like, every single performance of, the opening act. The song just popped out of my
The Whole Being Dead thing?
Yeah, the Whole Being Dead thing. I've
or
watched,
Lydia's
like,
song before that.
No, the Whole Being Dead thing. I've watched, like, every single performance of the Whole Being Dead thing that is on YouTube. like every single time.
I like
they,
that
like,
he changes the
lyrics for a
lyrics.
special performance.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, the Broadway, like, so fun fact, the official recording for the show and what they actually perform in the show, because he says in the recording it's it's, hey folks, begging your pardon, excuse me, sorry to barge in. But then in the actual show, it's the fucking welcome to the winter garden is the last lyric. So they change it up depending on like what's what, you know.
Yeah.
Like I love that they continually keep changing the fucking lyrics.
And if anything, like, that just proves how ridiculous Alex Brightman is.
Alex Brightman is so good. He's such a good Beetlejuice.
He doesn't fuck it up. He doesn't fuck it up, like, anytime.
Well. So, the day after we saw the show.
Which by the way, I was very incorrect about a couple of things. I don't know how, like, I don't remember what Kat said that made me think that she had seen the show multiple times, but apparently she hasn't. She's only seen it once. But she was going to see it with her girlfriend. They didn't go on Valentine's Day. Her girlfriend, is actually visiting now. But yeah, so they were going to go a second time, but now they're not. I don't know what the deal is, but yeah, so
Valentine's Day, the day after we saw the show.
Yeah.
There's a part in the opening number where Alex Brightman is standing on a coffin and he jumps off, and it's a fairly substantial drop. And he just jumps off of the fucking coffin. And I mean, it's it's enough to trigger my fear of heights.
Yeah,
for anybody who has ever, like, been to a warehouse or worked in a warehouse or anything, if you know how high up off the ground, like, a dock door is, or like how high up off the ground, like, a transfer trailer, it's about, like, that high or higher, and he just jumps off of the coffin straight to the stage, and he hurt himself in doing that, apparently.
And like a fucking trooper stuck it out.
Made it through half the show. Yeah, like the first half of the show. And then had to be replaced because he was like, I can't, like, I hurt too bad. I gotta.
Is he alright now?
From what I understand, yes.
So what happened? Was it just like a mild sprain or something?
Yeah, he was only out for a couple shows, and then he's back, as far as I'm aware from what I've heard. But yeah. But he was really good the night that we saw the show. There was a couple effects that didn't go off during Say My Name. Mm-hmm. He's supposed to take Lydia's like suicide note, and like it burns because it's flash paper. Mm-hmm. But the pyrotechnic didn't go off. So there's like a magician's thing a little bit of insight into like magic. From somebody who did magic for years and years and years and years and years. There's a little device.
So much, you dork.
There's a little device that you can get that like hides in your sleeve, and you can like activate it, and it lets out a little burst of fire. And a lot of people, it's like a little lighter, and a lot of people use that to do things like take a spark and like, you know, like throw a spark up in the air, or like a small little fireball, or to ignite, you know, flash paper.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing. It's like a wrist, like, and it only lets out a small little tiny puff of fire. It's not like it's a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
But that didn't go off, so he just like stuck it in his pocket. And I only know that because I've watched performances of the show like prior. There's a couple like things on YouTube where people have recorded parts of the show and uploaded them, and I've seen parts of them.
They've gotten to where they can spot people in the crowd doing that. I was watching an interview with a couple of the cast members, and Carrie, I always forget her last name, Barbara.
Yeah, I can't remember her last name.
She was saying like, yeah, it's gotten to where like we like see it in the crowd, and like no matter how slick you think you're being, we know it. And like,
yeah, they're like, we know.
Like, we'll even like say it to each other like during the performance, like, yeah, row B, seat 5, like, you know. But like
I mean, there was somebody that was recording while we went and saw. I don't know if you caught it, but in the audience, it was like the midway point of the show, like during the like Deo, somebody was recording, and there was a usher in the in like the aisles, and they had a flashlight, and they were like shaking it over a person's head as they were like had their phone out and were recording. So they were like signaling like hey, there's a person recording.
I was too enraptured by fucking Deo, which is iconic.
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah, God, can you do me a favor? Hit me with a "It's showtime."
Oh my God. It's showtime.
Thank you.
I would kill to be Beetlejuice, dude.
I know. For Halloween one year, we should dress up as Beetlejuice. I mean, you've been Beetlejuice.
I've been
already,
Beetlejuice.
But like, we should dress up as Beetlejuice and Lydia.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I'm so glad you changed your mind.
And
you are not going to regret this.
Sandwich has to be Barbara Maitland because Sandwich is fucking Barbara Maitland.
She is. Sandwich is 100% Barbara.
It's like when she's like Barbara 2.0 and she does all that. I was like, holy shit, I'm watching Sandwich right now. And I was talking to Kat about it, and I was like, by the way, do you know my friend Sandwich that I talk to you about sometimes? And I talk about how like she's sunshine in a human being and all that. And Kat was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. She's Barbara from the show. Like, she is exactly Barbara. There is no difference between these two people.
Yeah.
And Kat was like, oh.
The fucking like, there's a part with the whole like in Barbara 2.0. where Adam is like, I bought this thing and then I felt bad because I never used it, and she's just like, break it. And it's so good. Oh God, I love that show so much.
That I really love about the musical is that like in the movie, I'm not that big on the Maitlands. Like, yeah, like I like them because like they're the quote unquote good guys of the movie.
What's
and they're,
wild is the Maitlands nice are the fucking main characters of the movie.
Yeah, but like, and you know, they're like, and they're nice people and everything, so it's not like I hate them, but there's like wholesome, and then there's like tooth decay, like way too much kind of a thing. And like, what I loved about the characters in the musical is that there genuinely was not a single character I didn't like. Oh shit, my phone is ringing. Hang on. I don't even know that number.
Scam likely.
Did I hang up? Well, fuck it, that's staying in the episode. But yeah, so...
New phone, who dis?
No, but seriously, like, if it's important, they'll leave a message. But yeah, so like, in the show, the Maitlands were wholesome, but not in an annoying way. They were wholesome in the way that it's like, oh, I would love these people if they were my neighbors.
So I love the changes to the characterization of the Maitlands, because the Maitlands were still fucking dorky white people, but they were the kind of like dorky white people who like...
I don't even like pottery.
They take community fucking like lessons where that like learning how to glass blow and going to wine tastings and trying to learn how to do pottery, and here's a spin your own yarn kit, and let's make kombucha. We're vegans now. Like, they're that kind of white people. And it's adorable.
Like, but also like after they die and they're like, we're not even these people. Like, why are we doing all of this?
Yeah, they didn't realize like who they were until after they died, which is tragic.
Yeah.
And I hope to God that's not me.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. So I'm gonna make a statement real quick. Here's the thing: if you're listening to this, first of all, thank you, because we've been through a lot of hiatuses. Hiati. We've been through a lot of those. With everything going on with us. If you're tuning in for the first time, we don't always talk about musicals and stuff.
Hi,
like
this
that,
is like a fucking wild episode to start out on.
Yeah, like might I suggest instead
the first episode.
I was just gonna say the first episode, because we talk about some shit in there that is really kind of the crux of what this show is. But yeah, like, if you're listening to this, I don't care how old you are. If you're 15, number one, why are you listening to this? This is a mature show. Debatable, because we're not really that mature, but it's a mature show. But but seriously, if you're 15 or if you're like 25 or like however old you are, like I'm going to be 32 this year. If you're struggling trying to figure out like who you are as a person, most people are. Like, that's not a thing that you always know, and it's not a thing that you just find out after high school, or, you know, like, you go to college and you, like, go into your major, and it's the major that you want, and you, like, actually, like, stay in the major. And I say actually stay in the major because that's another thing. If you change your majors a couple of times, you're not a failure. Lots of people do that, so that's another thing to keep in mind. But yeah, like, there are people who seem to think that, like, you know, oh, I'm 35 years old, I should know who I am now. That's so fucking rare. And a thing that I'm learning more and more as I get older
we're
is
like
that, yeah.
I can tell you right now, we're all kind of just making it up as we go along.
Exactly. Like, that's exactly
as like
what I was
someone
gonna
who
say.
shouldn't be certified as an adult, but somehow unfortunately is. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like we're all just kind of pretending.
Oh,
So
yeah, like,
I mean, I get it.
I always say that, like, I only stopped being a teenager when I was in my late 20s. because, like, I mean, I also had a whole bunch of shit happen where, like, my maturity was kind of stunted by the fact that, like, my parents treated me like I was an infant for so long that, like, you know, I kind of was a kid for a really long time. But yeah, like, the older I get, the more I realize that adults don't know jack shit. And they're just winging it, and, like, very few people actually get it. Like, very few people actually, like, do know who they are and, like, you know, have things figured out. It's way more common that they don't. It's just that they might look like they do.
Yeah. But like I said, I mean, I really like the changes to the characterization of the Maitlands. They're like,
I like all the changes that they made from the movie.
I love Delia. Good
like,
fucking God, I love Delia.
But that's what I mean. Like, in the movie, I really don't like her. And
no, because she's.
Show,
I mean, no offense to Catherine O'Hara, because she's a treasure.
She's a
but
fucking
good
icon,
fucking God, was her
yeah.
Delia. Like, I don't like her Delia.
Yeah,
but
like,
in this, she's like, fucking. There's a whole point where she's like, I found my frequency crystals speak to me. What do they say? Buy more crystals.
She's great. She's so good. And, like, you root for her.
Yeah,
and
or, like, the fucking universe is, like, a female best friend who is, like,
what's
wants
up, girl?
to, like, yeah,
like,
and, like, you know, she vapes.
Yeah. Like, honestly, that's the thing. It's like the only character that remotely annoys me in the show is Charles. And even him, like, I kind of get it. Because, like, the whole point of the show is that Charles and Lydia are each trying to deal with Emily, Lydia's mom. They're both trying to deal with Emily's death, but Lydia is a child, and she wants to talk about it, and she doesn't want to forget her mom. And then there's Charles, who it's way too painful for him,
and he just wants to move on and forget.
Yeah, and, like, because it's too painful for him, he's kind of being really selfish and not thinking about the fact that Lydia actually does need to talk about it. You know? But it's like, and even that, like, in the second act, like, when they finally come together and talk it out, like, that is one of the most incredible moments in the whole show. And, like, as somebody who has gone through that very specific experience of losing their mom, there were so many times throughout the show where, like, Lydia would say something and I would just kind of sigh and, like, nod my head like, yeah, that's exactly it. And
yeah,
the show is so important for me personally, not only because this was everything I'd ever wanted in something since I was, like, 5 years old. Like, every time the projector had the bats fly over and everything, like, my heart, like, I loved this show so much. But, like, but on a very personal level, I have never, ever seen something or heard something that nailed it. Like, what that feeling is like this show. Yeah. And it was just, I mean, walked away from the show feeling lighter.
Yeah, I mean, at its core, and I they mention this multiple times throughout the show, it's a show about death.
Yes.
And it like, that was one thing going into it that I was worried about taking Jack to, because I knew the circumstance and I knew about everything, and I was like, are you going to be able to handle this show? Because at its core, it is a show about death. And yes, Beetlejuice is funny, and yes, there's a whole bunch of other stuff, but it does get heavy. And you know, and the heaviness is warranted. I mean, it's it does a very good job at handling it.
Well, like I said to you, which, like, I was honestly, like, incredibly grateful that you thought of that and that you thought to bring it up to me and be like, hey, like, I really want to take you to see this show, but I really want to know that you're going to be okay. Like, my response to you was, I'm probably going to be fine. If I start crying, the most that will happen is I'll just need a hug and I'll be able to deal with it. So, like, yeah, like, and I did cry. Like, there were a couple times throughout the show where, like, Lydia, like, something she said, like, made me, like, a little misty-eyed, but, like, it wasn't really, like, that big a deal. But Home in the second act fucking destroyed me. But, like,
so I
cry
listening to, like, the actual soundtrack.
Yeah.
And there were so many times during the actual show that I was just sitting there, like, trying to as quietly as possible, but sobbing my eyes out because I was like, holy fuck. So it's such a different experience, like, seeing it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's like, I always use the Mona Lisa as an example when it comes to, like, art of any kind. It's a very different experience. Like, for example, like, I've only ever seen one. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. I've seen a couple of, now that I think about it. I was going to say I've only ever seen one stage production on DVD. But when I was in theater classes in college, I saw a couple. But, like,
hang on a second. I want to ask, what one is it that you were going to say that you've seen a DVD of? Because if it's the same one that I've seen like 1900 billion quadrillion times,
it's probably not Company with the Rolling Sparza version.
Mine was Into the Woods because our theater teacher loved Into the Woods, so every time that we did any sort of field trip, it was Into the Woods over and over again.
Oh my god. Yeah, I saw a production of Oedipus Rex on DVD.
Oh god.
Yeah, and it was real creepy. It was real fucking creepy because they all had like these masks on, and it wasn't even like, now that I think about it, it wasn't even like really a stage production. It was weird. Like, but
I know exactly what you're talking about because I've watched this too. But
yes,
getting off back on topic.
But yeah, so I saw Company on DVD, and it was fantastic, and I loved it. But like, one of the things that I kept thinking was, this was probably amazing live. And I always use the Mona Lisa as an example, because when you see a picture of the Mona Lisa, like on, like in a textbook or online, I didn't know until I was in college doing graphic design that the Mona Lisa is a very small painting. Because you think, oh, the Mona Lisa, like, it's this, famous painting, and it always looks like it's this big, like, thing in this big frame. No. And on a personal experience, one of my favorite pieces of art I've ever seen, I actually have a postcard with it, is one of my favorite artists is this guy, Roy Lichtenstein. And he does a lot of work with, like, within the comic medium.
Yeah.
So he does, like, Ben-Day dots and, like, all that.
Yeah.
And it's this piece called Drowning Girl. And I just love the colors. I don't know why. I just love this piece so much. And I had to go to MoMA when I was still in classes for like for a specific exhibit. But after the class ended, like after we met up for that specific thing, the teacher was like, I mean, while you're here, you guys should really just look around. So I found myself, like, on this floor, just looking around, and then I turn around, and there's Drowning Girl on the wall. And I had no idea that it was in MoMA. And I was fucking floored, not just because it was there, and I was seeing it in person, but because I had no idea how massive this painting was. Like, it is a large piece. Like, it took up, like, a decent portion of the wall.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. It's like you can see it. It could speak to you if you're watching it or looking at it on a computer screen, but it's something totally different to see it in person if you can.
Yeah.
You know, and like and that was also one of the things I kept thinking of while we were at the show, was that like this would probably, like, I desperately want it to come out on DVD, like for them to do a recording of it. I desperately want that so I could have it forever, but that's going to be nothing compared to what it is live.
Yeah, it's to the point that like part of me did kind of want to do like stage door stuff, but I was also like very peopled out, and I knew I had an hour long train ride back to like Long Island, and I had a headache and everything else, so I was like,
To be honest, I have no idea where the stage door even would have been for Winter Garden.
It's the exit that we went out.
Yeah.
It's the other one. We went back out the front. There's another exit on the other side of the building, and it's around the back over there.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I like I don't know, like I would kill to play Beetlejuice one day. Like, I just, it's one of those things that, like, I would love to do because I can do the voice and I can sing in the voice, and I would be great.
Do you know how to do the trick that he does to not fuck up his vocal cords? Of course you do.
Well, apparently it's like a genetic thing. So
really?
It's like for me, there's like, this is gonna sound real gross. There's like a flap of skin near my vocal cords that I can manipulate. And not everybody can do that. So I can be talking like this and flipping in and out of the voice just over and over again, and it doesn't bother me or hurt my voice at all.
I wish I knew how to do that, because my vocal cords are still a little fucked up from 2018.
I mean, so if you listen to like me doing the Beetlejuice voice, the like fucking like, you could use a buddy. Don't you want a pal? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Girl, the way I see it, your daddy should be leaving and you should stick around.
And that's about as much as we can do.
Yes, I can do that, but that whole thing is also like how I do Zrix's voice.
Mm-hmm.
So the Zrix voice kind of does the same, like, trill. Just, yeah. Just a little bit higher pitched. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And I can manipulate that to do different things with my voice. So it doesn't hurt my throat or bother me. Everybody kept saying that like Zrix's voice was going to kill my throat, and it doesn't. Like, I don't even feel it. It's not like I don't like have to have water all the time or whatever. Like, I can just do it.
Yeah, in the Tony's performance of the whole being dead thing, the line goes from like, instead of I do this shit like 8 times a week, he says I sing like this 8 times a week. Yeah. It's like, yeah.
But yeah, like, it's like I said, just the show itself was a transcendent experience.
Absolutely. Like, that is the word.
And literally, like, let me tell you, we walked into the theater. We went, like, we both individually, like, we're gonna go to the bathroom first. And whenever we finally met back up and we were heading into the theater, like, I looked over at the stage and, like, almost broke into tears.
Because they had, like, the giant, like, Beetlejuice thing up, and it's just, like, it's not just a show, like, it's a whole, that, like,
the intro music is all done by Danny Elfman, by the way.
Like, but everything about this fucking show, like, when Deo started, the entire crowd roared. like, when the, like, spoiler alert, when the, like, shrunken head guy showed up, the crowd went nuts.
Yeah, like also they implement like bits from the movie in like little ways, little subtle ways, and it never feels fucking cheesy.
Exactly. Like, they don't, it
never feels shoehorned, and it's...
Yeah, I said to you during intermission, I was like, what I love about this is that they implement it in, like, it's just, you know, a natural thing to be in here, and it's not like, hey, remember this, wink wink nudge nudge. Like, it's nothing that.
They do the fucking, like, it's subtle, but whenever during that beautiful sound, when the pizza guy shows up,
yeah,
she's like, hey, what did you order? And he's like, pepperoni, mushrooms, and snakes. And the guy's like, snakes? And another copy of Beetlejuice does the, like, snake face thing.
Yeah.
And there's, like, a shadow projected onto the wall of, like, the snakes coming out of his face. Like...
They also, and I didn't know this until I watched, it was a radio interview that Alex Brightman did, that there's a lot of Tim Burton references in there. If you, like, there's a lot of Easter eggs if you look for it. Like, I forget what it was, but there's a Nightmare Before Christmas one in there. Like, there's a couple.
Yeah. Fucking Sandy is a part of the show, and Sandy is amazing.
To be my best friend.
She is massive.
She is.
And terrifying.
Oh, it's wonderful though. The top hat at the end when they're doing their bows.
Yeah.
They give her a top hat.
So the fucking Sandy has like a finale outfit that she wears as well. Sandy is the giant fucking sandworm, if you don't know what we're talking about. So like, she's a part of the show, and fucking Alex Brightman rides her at one point, and it's so
honestly,
good.
I love the change in the ending. Like, the changes that they made, like, and I said this to you on the walk back to Penn Station as well. Like, I love the movie. I'm always going to love the movie. I grew up watching the movie, and obviously the cartoon show was such a huge part of my childhood. But everything they did in this show was so, like, on point, and, like, I'm always going to love Michael Keaton. Like, when I was a kid, like, Michael Keaton was one of my favorite people, because he happened to play, like, two of my most favorite characters. But,
well, I mean,
like,
so the movie makes Beetlejuice a fucking creep asshole.
But they, like, that's one of the things I was going to say before, and I totally got sidetracked. One of my other most favorite things about the show is the fact that they address how weird and gross that is.
Yeah, like, in the show, so the ending of the show isn't the same, and they changed Beetlejuice's characterization to the point where, yes, he's still the bad guy, and yes, he's still, like, the main driving force, but he's not, like, I mean, honestly, in the end, he's not technically the main villain, I guess.
No. And, like, they changed him from being this, like, super creepy, like, awful person to just, like, I am a really fucking lonely guy, and I am trying everything I possibly can to not be lonely anymore.
I mean, he still has, like...
I mean, he's still got
he still
his
has
bad
his,
traits.
you know, he still has, like, his, like, sex jokes, and... You know, he makes out with Adam multiple times and
keeps calling him sexy.
And the whole, you make daddy so angry. That
was amazing.
Like that shit is so funny. Like, I mean, he still has those moments, but for those who don't know, there's a moment where he, like, yells at Adam, and Adam, like, he looks shocked, and then Beetlejuice is just like, sorry, I don't mean to yell. You make Daddy so angry. But yeah, he still has his like sex jokes and stuff, but he's not like super duper creepy like he was in the fucking movie, and like he's actually kind of likable.
Yeah.
And just a misunderstood lonely person.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, like he does a lot of bad shit, but it's like he does it for a reason.
Yeah.
He wants to, like, in the movie, he wanted to become a human again, to like, you know, become a human. Like there's no real like super motivation there.
He just wants out of like
of being this like demon thing.
Yeah.
In the musical, it's like he desperately wants to be a human again so that he can have friends. So that he can interact with people, because he's invisible and nobody sees him otherwise.
And that's like
only
his whole after thing. He like this is after Lydia brings him back with the whole Beetlejuice thing, and this is like he decides he wants to be a human only after like Lydia basically is like, oh, I'm gonna go like find my mom like in this other thing, and he realizes that like he's about to lose the only friend that he actually has. So he's like, oh, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna become a human. So then blah blah blah.
But I mean, at the same time, like Beetlejuice is sort of the embodiment of like anxious paranoia, because Lydia has other interests, and he was expecting, like, now that she brought him back, like he was going to spend all of his time forever with Lydia, and like Lydia was going to spend all of her time just doing nothing but hanging out with Beetlejuice and would have no other interests or not want to go do anything else, or, you know, whatever. And when he's just like, or she's like, oh, well, I'm going to go talk to the Maitlands. And he's like, wait, what? Like the you can't have any other friends except for me kind of situation.
Hey, Lydia, do you like puppet shows? That was great. Sometimes
tell my story.
Sometimes puppet shows are sad.
But no, like there's the changes that they made to the characters, like even make Beetlejuice likable, which is amazing. Like in the end of the show, like Beetlejuice isn't necessarily the bad guy.
Yeah.
Like,
and
that's
at the
amazing.
End of the show, yeah, and at the end of the show, you're like, oh, this is exactly why you are the way you are.
Yeah. But I love the changes that they made, and they were...
Yeah.
Oh, God, it was such a good show. I definitely recommend, if you can get tickets before June 6th, definitely go see the show. Like, if you're going to be in or around New York, like, go see it. For sure.
And if you are 21 or older and you are going to go see the show and you would like to get one of the drinks, the one I got was the Sip 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 Sonora, and I highly recommend it. It was super good.
Oh, can we talk for a minute? Because you mentioned it.
What?
There are multiple times during the show, and Jack was taking time to, like, after the show to kind of look. But there are multiple times during the show where both Barbara and Lydia, like, levitate off the ground with no wires.
Yeah.
And, like, when Barbara levitates, it's during, like, an exorcism thing, and she kind of, like, slightly, like, wiggles and wobbles.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really happen during Lydia's levitation. But she was, like, she was just, like, statically up in the air. Mm-hmm. It's this, like, really cool effect. But there's no wires, like, whatever.
They won't say how they did it.
It's an industry secret. So if you know, that's super cool.
Yeah.
That there are there's a bunch of things like Alex Brightman, like during That Beautiful Sound,
Mm-hmm.
pops up to scare the Girl Scout, and
Yeah.
he like rapidly pops up. It's like
Mm-hmm.
very fucking fast. It's almost it almost looks animated
Yeah.
with like how fast he pops up. Like it doesn't look like it's real, or it looks like it's edited, but he really pops up that fast. And they won't tell how they do that either. So there's a bunch of like secrets about the show. But yeah, like if you're gonna be in New York before June 6th, definitely go see Beetlejuice, because it's super good. They deserve the best. I can't wait to see what's next for them. I hope that they manage to either move to a new theater, or if they go on tour or whatever.
They're the kind of it's the kind of show that deserves the longevity of Wicked and like Rent back in the day and like all that shit. Like it truly deserves that.
I mean, seriously, this show is probably one, like, I honestly, for years and years and years and years and years, I was saying that like that Wicked was my favorite show of all time, and honestly, I think Beetlejuice is now my favorite musical of all time, and I don't think anything else is ever going to beat it.
Yeah, same.
But it deserves the longevity of like Sweeney Todd, and I mean because it's so good. And yeah, like
I also continue.
I was gonna say I'm still super tempted to like send them a recording of me singing Beetlejuice songs and just be like, yo, if y'all ever need a Beetlejuice for the tour, you know, hit me up.
Do it now. But yeah, like I was gonna say, like I had made comments to my friend Amanda, like is super into Broadway. Like that's what she wants to do. She wants to be like a Broadway actor. And I forget what her job is, but she has a job like within theater. But yeah, so like I said to her once, I was like, you know, I would love to write like a horror thing, and I just don't know, because I'm not a theater person. Like I don't really know what's possible and what's not. So like for me as a writer and somebody who would love to do this at some point, to see that show and realize, oh, basically anything I come up with is possible.
Yeah.
It's like because that's the thing, like you think about theater and you're like, oh man, but like there's only so much you can do, and it's like, no, like there's a lot you can do. It just takes creativity.
Yeah, I mean, no, well, I really want, I'm trying to think of how I want to parse this. I just really want the best for this show.
Yeah.
And, you know, I really want them to flourish, and I want good things to come their way. I want them to be able to keep this show going for a long time. It's one of the coolest, literally like one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. And the show was amazing, the story was amazing, and the cast was amazing. I hope they're able to find a new theater.
Yeah.
Like this has been like a cult hit, and it got about the same like recognition and stuff as like, you know, Hamilton did in its early days. It just didn't make the money that they wanted it to. And
not in time anyway.
Yeah, not in time. And you know, I just wish them all the best, and I wish the successor in this theater the best. As much as annoying as it is that this is going to be the musical that replaces it.
The thing that upsets me most about that is that Beetlejuice is one of the most unique and creative and different things that there's ever been on Broadway. And like, yeah, you know, like you mentioned Sweeney Todd before, like there've been like super dark shit that's been on but like this is something that is so out there and people love it so much, and something this remarkable and different is being replaced by The Music Man, which is how many revivals is this now? So it's like,
but this one has Hugh Jackman in it, so like, you know.
Yeah, but that's my thing, is like, that's what's so frustrating to me about it, is the fact that this show is being replaced by this thing that we've seen a bunch of times.
Yeah. Like I said, I wish Music Man the best.
Like, it's not their fault.
It's not.
You know, like, as much as I want to be bitter, and as much as I want to be like, fuck Music Man and everything like that,
and at the end of the day, it's not their fault.
Yeah.
It's not the cast's fault. It's not anything else. It's, you know, it's business, and I get it. I really hope that like Beetlejuice is able to find something, because I genuinely love that show with like my whole heart.
I wish it all the sucks yes that it could possibly get.
All of the sucks yes. I was gonna say earlier, fucking, because we were talking about Delia, and I was gonna mention the whole Delia and Otho thing.
Like my guru Otho always says.
The fucking, their greeting to one another. Yes. Life is life. Love is love. Live a life of love. It's so fucking, oh God.
Yeah.
God, I really, really, really wish them the best. I don't think that they're ever going to hear this, but Sophia Ann Caruso has left the show.
Yeah.
I wish her the best in her career. I wish Presley Ryan the best as Lydia, Alex Brightman, everybody. They're all amazing, and I just really, really, like I said, I love this show with my whole heart.
Yeah.
And I want good things for it. I wish, if this were a perfect world, I wish that I could just be like, here is all of my money.
Yeah.
But like I said, I hope things work out for them.
Yeah.
But we've been talking for an hour and 30 minutes.
We have.
So we should.
And it's about that time that I think my brother has forgotten that I'm recording, because I hear him outside my door.
So we should probably wrap up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you remember the outro?
We're gonna fuck it, we'll do it live. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, and I want to take a moment to say a big thank you to our wonderful friends, Fierce Ferrets. Luke and Jen are wonderful human beings. You can find them over on twitch.tv/fierceferrets. And you can also go listen to our other content over on their website, fierceferrets.com. We have Drunk Fandom, which is making a return. Finally, we have been talking about this for like a fucking year.
Yeah, like, I feel like this is like the Jimmy Kimmel thing where he's like, I'm so sorry to Matt Damon, but we've run out of time.
Like, I have edited an episode of Drunk Fandom. It is coming back.
Yes.
I will be editing another episode literally tomorrow. But Drunk Fandom is returning. And I'm actually supposed to be recording an episode next Monday. And next Saturday. So look forward to that, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And Last Light is also over there. We are working on trying to complete this story this year. So yeah, we'll have hopefully have the conclusion of like this saga with like Zrix and Reese and everybody. We'll see those characters wrap up and do their own thing and then move on to bigger and better things, I suppose. But I play Zrix, a wonderful bug boy operative and hacker who is the only capable one of our team.
I mean, I'd be offended if it weren't so true. And I play Reese, an android mystic who is a very good magic user and friend to most.
But so you can listen to us over there and see all the other shenanigans that we get up to. Also,
and what's their channel on Twitch?
Twitch.tv/Fierce Ferrets.
Yay!
I already said it. I said it before I said the website so that I didn't say the website again.
I didn't hear that. I was waiting for it.
Yeah, the first thing I said was you can find them over at twitch.tv/Fierce Ferrets because I was like, I didn't want to say
fast that it didn't register in my brain.
I didn't want to say the fierceferrets.com first because my brain would have been like fierceferrets.tv/Fierce Ferrets or something.
Ferrets.ferrets.fierce.
Yeah. Also, to those who might be interested, and I'm going to add this to our like advertisements at the end of the fucking thing. Jack and I are streaming again a little bit more frequently. You can find me over at twitch.tv/Daekon Frostgrave, DAEKON Frostgrave. And
you can find me at twitch.tv/Wombat Baron, one word, WOMBATBARON.
So if you want to see us streaming stuff a little bit more often, I am currently, sometime in the next week or so, I'm going to be playing Frostpunk, which was gifted to me. And
I just played Hatoful Boyfriend.
Oh my God.
And it was... I'm going to replay it because I didn't realize I was making choices that I was making. And also, what I love the most about it is that it's not this long, drawn-out thing like so many other dating sims are.
You need to go after Iwamine.
I didn't even know I could. Like,
yep.
That's how much I had no idea what choices I was making.
You have to spend a lot more time with the like of your choosing, because there's a couple times where you could have made the choice to go hang out with or to go to the nurse's office or to go to the during or to go to different booths where he was. So yeah, it's a little bit weird, but yes, there's a whole path to Iwamine, and I want to see you do it on stream, real bad.
Yeah, I'll try to do that next time.
But also, I'll probably be playing Animal Crossing a lot in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, we also need to play Don't Starve together again.
We do.
I miss streaming with you.
But so you'll see us streaming a lot more often, coming like over the next couple months and stuff. I'll definitely be streaming a lot more often. But yeah, so check out Fierce Ferrets, check out us on our Twitches. And I think that's everything on that front.
And yeah, you could also check us out on social media. So we have a Twitter account and a Instagram account, and Instagram account even. It's the same handle on both. It's at the COTV podcast. You can follow us there for updates and funny memes and just general information about Daekon and I both individually or about the show. We are also on Patreon. If you become a patron, you can get access to our exclusive Discord. If you are in the $5 tier and up, you also can vote in polls and get access to our episodes of a couple days early. And another perk that people in the $5 and up tiers get is hearing their names read out at the end of each episode.
Speaking of our wonderful, wonderful patrons, thank you so much to our good friend Pax and Austin 1000, Brandon Son, Jerda, and Fierce Ferrets / Backclam. I don't know who to thank, but you know, our wonderful friends at the Fierce Ferrets support us, and they're in our Patreon. So, and on a
very personal level, I'd like to thank Austin 1000 yet again, and Pax. You both know what you did, and I am incredibly same for Daekon. You both know what you did. I am super grateful for your continued help, and thank you.
Yeah, the support means a ton, especially given my current circumstance. So I really,
both of us
really
are going
appreciate
through some pretty
it.
scary times right now.
Yeah,
that I'm not going to get into right now, but things are hard and very scary. So, but
that said, thank you so much to our wonderful patrons, and if you want to, join in, again, you can find all of our all Patreon
of our
information and all that is in our social medias.
It's the pin tweet on our Twitter account that has, and we also have a Ko-fi coffee. I always say Ko-fi.
It's coffee.
It's coffee. Brain. Yeah, we have one of them shits.
Anyway, with that, I think that's just about everything.
Yee.
Yes, I think that's just about everything. So, Beetlejuice. And yeah, we hope that you guys enjoyed this episode, and hearing us gush about the show. We will see you guys in the next one, and until then, sweet dreams.
Bye.